Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back, one and all, to Virtual Storytime from your very own Newark Public Library. As always, we are recording this live story stream on land that rightfully belongs to the Lenape Indian tribe, and if you are tuning in from anywhere in our fair city of Newark, New Jersey, it is quite likely that you are on land that rightfully belongs to the Lenape Indians as well. I am your proud host, Mix Allie. That is Mix, just like mixing bowl, not to be confused with Miss, Ms., Mr., or Mrs., because, as you can see very well for yourselves, I am not a boy, nor am I a girl. I am a non-binary unicorn. And my storytelling companion, who many of you already know and love, is a boy unicorn. Please give it up, one and all, for the one, the only, Jonathan Van Unicorn! Hello, hello, hello! Oh, how marvelous to see every single one of you back here this afternoon. Jonathan, I had such a great morning with you today. Oh, I did too. So if anyone's just tuning in now, Mix Allie and I have been celebrating LGBTQ+, or gay, Pride Month. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it, Jonathan? Oh, yes, you see, I was a little confused by it at first because I didn't know what gay or LGBTQ+ meant at the beginning, but, Mix Allie, now I am beginning to understand that members of the LGBTQ+ community are simply people who have something about their gender or sexuality that is different from what, unfortunately, people just automatically expect most of the time. So, for instance, Mix Allie, yes, Jonathan, for instance, a lot of the time, there are boys and there are girls. And when someone is born, people say that they're a boy, and they are a boy, and that's that. That's the end of it. Yeah, a lot of the times that happens, Jonathan. Yes, but sometimes it can happen that you're something other than a girl or a boy, like you, Mix Allie. Or it can also happen that someone is thought to be a girl or a boy when they are born, but it turns out that they're something else later on. And that's okay. That is totally correct, Jonathan. Excellent explanation. Yes, and then the other thing is that a lot of the time boys have crushes on girls, and girls have crushes on boys, and women and men fall in love with each other, and all of that's totally fine. It happens a lot. But sometimes, as we learned this morning when we read about two kids in families that had either two mommies or two daddies, sometimes two women or two men can fall in love, or two girls or two boys might have crushes on each other, and that's okay too. That is so well explained, Jonathan. What do we call everything that you were just talking about? Oh, well, when it comes to the questions about whether you're a boy or a girl or something else, that's your gender. And then when it comes to who you like or have crushes on or fall in love with, that's your sexuality. They're big words, Mix Allie, and I was very intimidated by them at first, but it turns out they're not so difficult to understand after all. Jonathan, I'm so glad that you feel that way. Yeah, we read a lot of, we read two books last week about people who had gender identities that made them part of the LGBTQ+ community, and we read about people whose sexuality and the way that their family was made up made them part of that community today. That's right, and it was most educational. I really enjoyed it. There was only one problem, Mix Allie. Oh, I think that I know where this is going. Tell me what the trouble was, Jonathan. We didn't have time for our chapter book Peter Pan this morning because we read so much about these questions. That is right. That is what happened this morning. But, Jonathan, you know what? What, Mix Allie? I'm going to make it up to all of you. You included, Jonathan. Yes, of course, I'm always included. Of course. We are going to make it up to all of you by reading Peter Pan. We'll read a little bit more of it than we usually would at once, and we're going to spend our whole afternoon virtual story time reading that book together. How does that sound, Jonathan? Oh, I like that idea very much. You know what, McSally? Yes, Jonathan? Before we get going, I'd like to do another of our exercises for getting rid of anxiety. Great idea, Jonathan. You know, it's the middle of the day. We did an anti-anxiety exercise this morning as well, and I'm sure it was helpful to a lot of folks. It definitely was to me. But you know, now that it's getting on to this afternoon, a lot of people who were feeling totally fine when they woke up this morning might be feeling a little bit more stressed or worried or anxious. What can they do, Jonathan, in order to feel enough better that they can be brave and they can do what they need to do? And I mean, most importantly at this moment, they can focus on enjoying a good story with us. Oh, I know one. It's called Ground Yourself in Your Body. Excellent. All right, Jonathan. How does that work? You know, McSally, I think you should tell this one because it has to do with feeling the weight of your body, and in the form that I take here in human land, I do not have feet, nor do I have a bum. That's true, Jonathan. I guess you don't. And you do need both of those things for this particular activity. All right, folks. So let me lead you through this one. Jonathan, you can join us in whatever way feels right to you. So the trick of this exercise is, if you're sitting down, just take a moment to feel the weight of your bum anchoring you to whatever you're sitting in or on, your chair, your couch, the floor, whatever it is. Just take a second to feel yourself grounded by gravity in that spot. And if you're standing up, you might want to stand up for this. Maybe do like a nice arm stretch, but just feel that your feet are holding you up. Let's all take a moment. Whatever position is most comfortable for you, take a second to feel the ground holding your body. There we go. How did that feel, Jonathan? Oh, I really like that one. I think it's quite marvelous. Yeah, you know, a lot of the time, we've read about this a bit last week, anxiety can make your breath go faster, it can make your heart beat faster, it can make your whole body feel really weird. But